Mr. Funk, yeah.
Yeah, not half bad. Yeah, I like a little funk in my step, a little groove. Why not?
Yeah.
Music has been an important part of my life.
I know.
I spent a lot of years doing it. So
You know your music, boy.
I have an idea about it. Well, how are we doing over there in the chat, baby?
Well, now I have 3 platforms to watch, but
Fun.
yeah, It's Finished is here. Eileen Flanagan, they're on X, and then we have everyone kind of moving over to Rumble. So we have Christy and DPSF 98, and who else? Wolverine 07.
Oh, there we go. Wolverine. That's somebody new that we haven't seen yet. So
welcome over.
Welcome over. Well, this is actually our second live over here on Rumble as well. And one of the reasons that we're making the switch from really hitting X hard is because I have just been absolutely slayed, just completely shadow banned, if not all out banned on X. And it's no fun anymore. It's absolutely no fun. So we are making the jump over here to Rumble. And of course, we're still on Substack and YouTube, but YouTube really limits me as well.
Yeah. So
but
I don't even bring it up.
Yeah. We tried Kick for a little while, but Kick was just not our platform.
Yeah. Kicked us in the ass.
That's exactly right. So let's start getting onto it because we've got a lot to cover tonight, and we only got a fraction of what we had set up for last night. Oh. So I'll have to roll some of those segments over. But right now, I am going to let you know that Caroline Leavitt came out today and spoke about Trump's takeover of the homeless situation in Washington, D.C. And I think that this is a good thing. I'm going to explain to you why. But first of all, take a look.
The Metropolitan Police Department, with the support of the new federal agencies who have been surging on the streets of the District of Columbia, are going to enforce the laws that are already on the books here in Washington, D.C. For far too long, these laws have been completely ignored, and the homelessness problem has ravaged the city. So D.C. Code 22-1307 and D.C. Municipal Regulation 24-100 give the Metropolitan Police Department the authority to take action when it comes to homeless encampments. So homeless individuals will be given the option to leave their encampment, to be taken to a homeless shelter, to be offered addiction or mental health services, and if they refuse, they will be susceptible to fines or to jail time. Again, these are pre-existing laws that are already on the books. They have not been enforced, which is part of the reason for this federalizing of the National Guard to bring in this assistance for law enforcement. While we are targeting criminals and trying to remove criminals off of the streets, we also want to make DC safe and beautiful, and that involves removing mentally disturbed individuals in homeless encampments as well. So we will be using these regulations and code that already exists to clean up our streets.
Well, there you have it. So Donald Trump has every right to do this. He can federalize Washington, D.C. because the president is in charge above all else of Washington, D.C. So there you have it. Now, I've got to say that I have kind of a connection to this because I was homeless at 19 for a year. No drugs, no alcohol, just bad parents and a year on the streets. And I learned real quick that if you stay in one place too long, you get swallowed whole. Drugs, alcohol, crime, violence, it will eat you alive. So I became a drifter, kept moving. That's how I survived. But in the masses of homeless that you see today, most are certifiably insane. I'm not making a joke or making light of it. That's the truth. Whether it's in their blood or burned into their brain by years of drugs and booze, it doesn't matter. They're trapped in a nightmare with no way out. And the system isn't just letting it happen, it's actually creating it. Let's take a look at how. You see, real drivers of homelessness today are the cost of living has absolutely exploded since the Obama era. Wages haven't kept up. Housing market has been taken over. Giant firms like BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, the regular players, buy up homes. I think they own a third of all new homes now. They buy up entire neighborhoods and drive up the price. And you simply can't afford as a young couple or as anybody anymore to buy a $750,000 or $1 million home when you're making 20, 30, 40,000 a year, and then the price of everything else goes up. State incentives to import homelessness, big cities, lure homeless populations with cash stipends. If they live in the downtown encampments, that's the issue right there. Why? Well, just like anything that our government does, once a problem is created, they get to steal tax money. If you want endless dollars, you never solve the problem. You create more homeless. That's how you do it. Put them in the most visible parts of the city and make sure the public sees the crisis, feels the crisis, suffers the crisis. Then allow DAs to stop enforcing the law. Turn your police into a catch and release program. Use the legal system as a propaganda arm. The homeless industrial complex, they are taking billions from taxpayers. Pennies reach the homeless. The rest get laundered through NGOs and politically connected insiders. Now, woven through it all is, of course, Afghan heroin spikes tied to CIA-tolerated trade or CIA trade. Remember the Iran-Contra affair? Contra cocaine pipelines, I can't even speak tonight,
Peter Piper.
Fueling the crack epidemic. Fentanyl flooding in through Mexican cartels with Chinese precursors. Mental institutions have been gutted for decades. The sickest are left untreated and on the streets. We've all seen how these hospitals will take a homeless person or a mentally disabled person and literally wheel them out in a hospital wheelchair and then dump their unabled bodies on the street. We've seen time and time again on social media, we've seen those posts.
Yeah, they're sad.
The streets of Los Angeles, once symbols of glamour and opportunity, have now become a grim testament to the growing homelessness crisis gripping the city.
There's a reason people call it Freeattle. Free tents, free drugs, free money, free medical care, free rain. What began as a sympathetic and civilized agenda has exploded into a crisis. It's the city's policy on drug use and law enforcement that really has made the problem here so bad.
Back in January, more than 600 volunteers with the Ending Community Homelessness Coalition went across the city to conduct a point-in-time or pit count. While considered an underestimate, it found in total 600 more people experiencing homelessness were off the streets and receiving shelter, a 50% increase over 2023. However, there are also roughly 900 more people experiencing homelessness than in 2023.
West on I Street. Look at that. You can see, it's homeless everywhere. This is Washington, D.C.
So that's just shocking to me that they camp out like this.
It is. It's shocking to a lot of people. And yet that's right downtown. All of those, I took those clips particularly because, well, I could have done 1,000. I could have done multiple cities in every single state. The homeless problem is much larger than you or I want to think it is. However, in states like Florida, Texas, Idaho, the government doesn't put up with it. They take care of the situation. And they're living downtown Boise, you don't see homeless people hardly at all. It's because they don't get paid, of course, to be here. And second of all, we don't allow that chronically ill human being to murder, rape, pillage on a daily basis, only to be picked up by the police, put on the evening news, so you have the propaganda, and then you say, we need more tax dollar in order to get rid of this homeless problem that we created because we've driven the price, the cost of living through the roof. You can't afford something? Who cares? Live in your car. That's the attitude. And I'll tell you, maybe remember when we missed Don, remember when we spent 8 months just driving around the U.S. working. I was a chef, a traveling chef. We worked all over. We lived in our Sprinter van for 8 months. Now we'd pull up, and then wherever we'd work, we would get a home or a cabin. It's some beautiful places. I mean, some just absolutely incredible places.
It's a nice Sprinter van too.
It is. But how many places did we pull over that there were just, I mean, an endless amount of cars, of people living in their vans.
Yeah.
I mean,
people just laying on the street.
It's crazy.
People walking over them. It was so sad.
Washington, Oregon, California, New York, New Jersey. Yeah. I mean, those are epicenters of homelessness. It's I don't know. It's insane that we are suffering through all of this. So what are they saying over there in the chat?
They're just talking about the Rumble, that it's nice to be over on Rumble.
Yes.
Beckham is watching you on Rumble on his TV. So, oh my God, watching Sergey with his big head.
I got to find my camera. Wait a minute.
It is finished says, remember COVID-19 did not eliminate the homeless because they were outside in the sun all day.
That's right.
If COVID was so dangerous, how come they're still all alive? COVID was a scam. Not being mean here, just being honest.
You're exactly
right.
The
sun. That is why and that's why they're blocking it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I talk about this all the time, that the nutrients from the sun is being stolen from us. And Donald Trump, if you are listening to my show tonight, like he would, but sooner or later, we're going to grow so big that he can't not. And hopefully, I want to grow large. I want to grow this show so big that we can affect the midterms, at least locally, if not nationally. But yes, Donald Trump knows that the government, our U.S. military, and the NGOs that we pay to do this, NASA, DARPA, NOAA, the usual suspects. That's my term tonight. The Usual Suspect. I loved that movie. Yeah. But now that Kevin Spacey is so weird, he's such a great actor. I wish that they would just gorilla tape their mouths shut when they get offset. So these actors and actresses just can't make complete asses of themselves. So I don't have to stop watching their films.
Yeah, no.
But that's neither here nor there.
DPS 98 says, me too. He's watching it on the big screen.
Yeah, there we go.
And he goes, huge head.
Yeah. Well, hopefully sooner or later we'll get a regular studio, and then I can back this camera off a little bit.
I like it all nice and close. It's intimate.
It is. It feels, I don't know if I could get used to, to something with a big desk, and who knows? Well, I mean, this is a big desk. I built this desk and another one, just almost exactly like it, with my bare hands. Yep. So
it's just a big piece of wood, people, with some
it's sturdy though. You got to admit, I put those lag bolts in it, and this damn thing isn't going anywhere.
As you've all heard, he's done a lot of things in his life. He is not a handyman.
I'm probably not.
He can cook. He can play music. He can do all kinds of things. But this man is not handy.
I'm probably not the guy you want working on your washer machine or mechanicking your car. Okay, because I don't have the tools. Right. If I had a shop with one of those things where you pick the vehicle up and everything, can you imagine what I could do?
He's a 5-year-old wanting a Tonka toy.
You're 5.
Jen says, yes, we're going to do it, Sergey. Make it big.
That is exactly right. Jen is starting to line up some great. Jen is now my show booker, and
your bookie?
My bookie, my bookie, and she's doing a fantastic job. We're getting some really good. We got Sean Hendricks coming up. We've got Nick. I'm trying to remember his last name. Oh my God! Anyway, you will know him as the lead marshal on the chief on Justified, played it just and any number of films. He's going to be on. I think we're working out a date. We've got a number of people that are coming on. Justin's coming on. I think that it's going to be fantastic. Babe, keep an eye on the chat and see if Jen puts Nick's last name there.
Of course.
So we are going to just kind of move on. So we're talking about the homeless situation and the fact that Donald Trump is cleaning it up. I think this is a good thing because unless you have been homeless,
Circe,
that's it. Nick Circe.
Okay.
So yeah, great actor. I'm so looking forward to talking with him, having him on the show. So keep a watch out. So we're now moving up, getting some we've had some great people on. So we're gonna have even more great people on.
Back to your homeless.
But unless you've been homeless, and I hope none of you experienced that, and I hope none of you see. I was not homeless with a car or anything. I was a 19-year-old kid, essentially pushed out of the house.
Well, your mom moved away when you were gone on a holiday.
So I was kind of homeless twice. When I was 16, my mom got married, and I went to my best friend's house for 2 weeks, and then we were supposed to come back, and then we were all going to move from Washington to Oregon, and I came back in 2 weeks. Well, the house was empty. They'd come back. I learned later that they'd come back a week early from their honeymoon and just decided to move down. Well, she left no address, no phone number. I didn't know what city or town. I knew nothing. And so instantly I was homeless. So I stuck my thumb out. I hitchhiked back down to my best friend Ronnie Wine's house, and he and I, within 2 days, we hitchhiked to Southern California, got picked up by a serial killer. I'll have to tell you that story sometime. Yes, those are the days. But my whole point is this. There are fixes to this. So one thing that we need to do is separate situational homeless from the chronically ill and addicted. We need to tailor solutions accordingly. Rebuild long-term inpatient treatment facilities. This is something that I really hope the Trump administration does. Shut down the homeless industrial complex by tying funds to independently audited results. We can't be spending... Miss Dawn, you remember the places they built in Seattle? Mm-hmm. It cost them $1 billion for 5 of these
little tiny homes.
Little tiny homes.
They're just sheds that you get at Home Depot.
They were $1,200 sheds you could get at Home Depot, and then they put up 2 plywood beds, one on each side, and then
and electricity and stuff, but still.
Yeah, electricity and a little plumbing, but $500,000 a piece.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, $500 million a piece, something like that. Some ridiculous number. I think it was.
I think someone walked away with some big pockets.
Yeah, it's just the amount of money that is being dumped, and what they do is they say, "Oh, we built these, and now we're going to go build a whole bunch more," and they celebrate that, and they have the media come, and they're all
prototypes.
These are the prototypes, and all that money that you sent is going to say, look at all these great people that are now not homeless. And then the cameras go and the lights turn off, and they never, ever, ever build more. Los Angeles, same way. San Francisco. I mean, they have a poop app for San Francisco. So you'd know where to step over the pee and the poop on the street. That's how bad it is. It's a sewer.
That's disgusting.
It is absolutely disgusting. Go look it up. Babe, can you look that up and see if you can find that poop app or a story or something about that, and I'll put that on the screen, because if you have not seen it in San Francisco, it's just ridiculous. We need to break the drug pipelines feeding this crisis also. Now, I really hope that the border breakdown or shutdown has really hampered that, but we have too many high-level officials that are involved in the drug trade. So they don't want to fix our homelessness. What they want to do is milk it for all it's worth. Turn downtowns into human misery billboards. Cash the federal checks, protect the NGOs, and call anyone who points it out a heartless monster. You heartless monster! How dare you!
Really?
Yeah, babe. I got that from what's her name, the autistic girl that her parents have paraded around. if we can't tell the difference between a kid trying to survive and someone lost in full-blown psychosis, and if we ignore how this crisis has become the perfect political ATM, cha-ching, I just need a little more money. Click, 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 zee, there's $1 billion for you, $1 billion for you. You got $1 billion, I'm going to $1 billion over there, up $2 billion, up $3 billion. We are not solving homelessness. What we're doing is we're feeding it, growing it, and cashing in on it. We got to get it stopped.
Sent it.
Oh, perfect. Well, let me go look at it. Why don't you tell me what's going on your end of things?
Beckham wrote, the homeless story is messed up, ghosted by your own mom.
Yeah, she's a
wonderful lady.
It's probably the reason that I'm not really religious.
Jen says, look how smart we are.
Right?
The CIA is the biggest dealer.
Yeah. Oh, completely. Absolutely. Here we go. San Francisco human feces problem. There's an app for that. One of the wealthiest cities in the world is also struggling to get a handle on homelessness and the lack of accessible toilets. Enter Snapcrap. I love that. The app that allows passerbys to report the messes, they're not going to poop, directly to the city. So that's what we're looking at right there. Let's see. Let me see if I can go find this app down here, because it doesn't actually list the app, I guess. No. Did I miss it someplace?
I can find you the poop app. Okay, moving on.
But regardless, there it is. So San Francisco there's enough poop on a daily basis that you have to look at an app to see how you are going to walk to work or where you should park. And don't park in San Francisco. You park your car. You are not 20 feet away. Somebody smashed that window right in front of you. We've seen it. Miss Dawn, do you remember when that film crew was down there talking about homelessness, and they were across the street filming, and all of a sudden a group of miscreants smashed the windows in their car and stole like $30,000 worth of camera gear. Off they go. There we are.
Yeah.
Just completely lost. So
there's your poop app.
Oh, hold on. Here we go. Oh, you
I
guys
just took a screenshot of it.
Perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna pull this in.
Poop map, pin, and
hold on. There we go. I'm just gonna pull that right in here. We'll resize it, and then that way you guys can see what we're talking about. There we go. We've got poop map. It's just so great. Poop map, pin it, and well, who knows? But it's got a number of cities, and they're pretty much all liberal cities. I think all blue cities.
I don't know, babe.
Yeah. Just a big pile of poop. That's all we're talking about right there. Now we're gonna move on, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Dawn
is ready.
Tired of talking about poop. So in this segment, we are talking about Trump's militarized D.C. And this is another very good thing. Big Balls, you'll remember him as one of the 19 or 23-year-olds that was part of Doge. He just got his ass handed to him by a group of people. A girl was being. I think they were trying to rape her, and he went over to defend her. She, fortunately, was saved by his actions, but they turned their fury on him and beat and bloodied him. Well, that did not sit good with our president, and he said, "Enough is enough, Muriel Bowser. You are going to be supplanted. I am taking control of the city."
Wow.
In the nation's capital tonight, a dramatic change after crime scenes like these. President Trump declaring a public safety emergency, deploying 800 National Guard troops to D.C. and taking control of the district's police department.
This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back.
That federal takeover can last up to 30 days without congressional approval. The troops set to fan out across D.C. over the next week, the White House says, to protect federal assets and deter violent crime.
It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness.
Even though crime statistics from the U.S. Attorney's Office in January said violent crime in D.C. was at a 30-year low.
Down.
The police
Can you
department
believe that?
says it was down 26% since
Wow.
last year. The head
That's
of the police union tells NBC News the crime stats have been manipulated, and any talk of a recent drop in crime is preposterous.
That's the point right there, is that the politicians, they want to rewrite what is actually the truth. And so what they do is they lie to you, and they get to lie to you because, well, they're politicians. It's the news. But as you saw in that reporting, the people who actually support the officers that are going out and fighting crime, there is absolute, they call it preposterous. The thought that crime is down 26%, 30%. Those are fantastic numbers. My goodness. Oh, wait, it's a complete lie? It's just, it reminds me of the job reports, right? Especially through the Obama era and through the goo-filled sock puppet that is Joe Biden. But Obama's, what was that? His third term there? There we go. Yeah, they lie. They massage. It used to be called massaging the numbers. It's just an out and out lie. It's fictitious. They make up numbers and then they present them as the truth. And I cannot stand that. So, yeah.
TPSF 98 says Mike Lees is drafting a bill to hand Congress to the control of D.C. Not sure if I like that idea either.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that is, I mean, these are the things that happen when you completely let crime run amok. Under federal lockdown, Trump's federalized the D.C. police. He sent 800 National Guard troops. National Guard troops even pulled in FBI agents to patrol, all to stop completely out of control crime. But here's the plot twist. Violent crime, they say, is down 20% overall and 35%. I think that they're lying about that, as we just saw in that clip. So what's really going on here? Well, in the same segment that I told you, a manufactured crisis. It is a very profitable crisis. Fighting crime. You have to have more crime if you want to fight more crime. And so they put the numbers up to get in office, and then they kind of tell you a little bit of the truth to get more money coming in for housing, to take care of criminals, to have shooting galleries. Remember how popular the shooting galleries were, where in Washington and Portland and Washington State, Portland, California, you could go in and they would give the drug addicts drugs. They had a whole bunch of drugs, and then they would also inject it in them and then put them back on the right downtown Seattle. You want to know when Seattle started to implode? It was in the 90s when they started those shooting galleries. And then that became the homeless industrial complex. Now it's the Wild West. So you have an emergency act that uses the Home Rule Act to seize control of D.C. Are we going to see that across the nation? God, I hope so. Triggered by high-profile assault. Even though the data shows that crime is falling, we know the truth. It's not. It's not at all. The data is a lie. Just like we are lied to by NOAA, who faked the climate change data. Not true. The whole climate crisis is built on an out-and-out lie. Just like the homelessness, crime in D.C. has been allowed to fester in certain neighborhoods. Now, you're not going to see this crime in the really popular areas. You're not going to see crime in Beverly Hills. You're not going to see crime in the nicest parts of Virginia or New York. You're not in a Manhattan high-rise, I'll tell you that. You are going to see it in Spokane, Washington, Seattle, but you're not going to see it on Bellevue, in the downtown streets of Bellevue. Maybe you are. It's getting out of hand in Seattle. Bellingham, though, used to be it's a beautiful city in Washington State, right up by the border, right on the water, absolutely gorgeous. They have turned the co-op. They turned the co-op into a homeless encampment. And then everybody has to leave in the morning and they can come back at 4. Well, what do? They hang out. They've destroyed that area of town right there. Yeah. I mean, there's hundreds of them. They moved the Mission, down the street into the lettered streets. Gorgeous area of Bellingham, now destroyed. And then right on State Street, they bought a whole new building. They built a whole new building and then filled it with drug addicts and homeless. Then they pour them out on the street. They kick them out in the morning because you have to have them outside, right? You have to get them out in the public's eye and allow them to break in. Remember all the big picture windows downtown Bellingham that were always shattered? They're always shattering those windows downtown.
Well, I'm glad we're moving back.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So DAs refuse to prosecute. Police are turned into a catch and release service, and the legal system again runs PR for political elites. Keeping neighborhoods dangerous is worth billions in law enforcement grants, surveillance contracts, and political leverage. If they can get these surveillance items in, and once you attach AI to that, do you think they're just looking at the homeless or at the drug addicts? No, that doesn't make them any money. But if you're on your way to work, and let's say that you stepped off the sidewalk before you got to the crosswalk and they put a new law in, they get to arrest you. They'll hold you. They'll keep you from work. Set the panic in. You got your mortgage is breaking your back. You can't afford food. The fuel to get to work is just becoming horrifically expensive. And now they're going to charge you thousands of dollars in legal fees and bonding you out and holding you, getting you in the system. And now you're just a slave, just absolutely a slave. What are they saying over there?
Well, back to the poop thing, Jen says, it'll cost you $25,000 to crap in the woods.
That is exactly right. It is cheaper just to pull your drawers down and drop a turd off at the pool. Drop the kids off at the pool right down here in downtown San Francisco.
DPFS 98 says Utah is number 17 in violence in Salt Lake City.
Really?
Chicago is 16. The most violent cities are liberal run.
Yeah, absolutely. The liberals love violence because it's a way they get in your pocket. Drive everything up. And the reason that they want food so expensive is because before COVID, eggs were selling at what? $1.49, $1.99 a dozen. And now those same eggs, I guess for $2.99 or $3.99, you could get really high quality, organically certified eggs. Those organically certified eggs are now $12.99, $13.99 for a dozen, $18.99. We saw at the co-op the other day. So the tax on that is more, but the government doesn't have to do more. All they have to do is put pressure on those. That's why Pete Buttigieg was put in charge of transportation secretary. Transportation is what brings the items to us. You put heat on that, you break that purposely. All of a sudden, the price of everything goes up. Once it's up, they know, they being the government, knows that those prices will never come down.
Right.
Oh, I thought you were about ready to say something.
No.
Okay, so to fix
I was
this,
going to say something about steak because I bought steak today, and yes, we buy grass-fed local, but it's still $27, $29 a pound.
Oh, it's a crime, and that's why I say 100 of us. That's all we need. Let's get together, buy a piece of property here in Idaho, and the reason I like Idaho is because Idaho laws are they don't nitpick as to what you can do with a piece of property. You have to follow you have to follow the laws, but there's not a lot of laws saying that you can't do this, you can't do that. It's pretty much your property, do what you want. You want 100 people living on a piece of property and create your own energy? Go right ahead. So, and 100 people give us voting rights. We can start a town. So that's what I'm saying. And I'm in love with those earth bag homes and the straw bale homes and the earth ship homes where they literally dig into the earth, cover that, and you've got like this hobbit living green. I don't know. It's a better way of life. Can you imagine that? Growing your own vegetables, have a little cafe in the morning that everybody, if they want to, can get together, have a local area where people can sing their hearts out, put a band together, or read poetry, or write poetry, or put on plays, right? Embrace the arts. We don't have enough arts in society anymore. A little place like that. Start a little restaurant, and then all of the product that is used in the restaurant comes from the community, and then people eat for free. If somebody comes in and they're from out of town, they get a bill, bang, and they're welcome. You come on back in.
Where does Irish Temper live?
I don't know,
because he says we pay $6.99 for local beef.
What?
And then he says the egg's on me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. I mean, when we were living up in the Panhandle here in Idaho,
we had
gorgeous
chickens.
We had chickens up there, and there's nothing better than fresh eggs. I mean, you won't get a better egg than an egg that was laid that morning. So there you go. Raise chickens, and chickens are fantastic for all your garbage, and I mean, all your biodegradable garbage and anything like that. But you can put a carcass out there, and they'll pick that thing clean. It's like they're like mealworms that are that big, just go right through it, and they all have personalities. I love chickens. Who doesn't?
Beckton wants to know, can he smoke cigars there?
I don't see why not. I'll smoke my pipe, baby. Where are my pipes? Right over there. You need to hand me one. Right over by the printer there. Yeah. So you certainly can. Absolutely. Because it's a free society. Yes. Smoke your cigars. That's what a free society does. And come down and play chess or checkers or Monopoly or whatever anybody wants to play in the town square. Let's make a beautiful place. And then let's do Airbnbs. Have guests come in.
God, no.
Generate income.
We don't want people coming in from the outside.
I'm not saying no. But anyways, back to our conversation. What we want to do is fix this. And so we need to demand public release of the data and the threat assessments. Tie every emergency spending bill to independently audited results. Remove the incentives for keeping neighborhoods in permanent crises. That's just common sense. That's just me thinking off my head this afternoon. What can we do, right? We turn a city block into a crime carnival, then roll in the tanks and cash the checks. That's the problem that I have right here. That's not leadership. That is running a protection racket with uniforms. It is absolutely the mob. They create the problem. They tax you for the problem so they can create a bigger problem. And then they roll in and lock you in your homes and take your money. At that point, look at how hard they've tried to take our Second Amendment rights and our First Amendment rights. They want to shut us up and take our guns away. And we can't even say guns anymore. Look at what has happened to language. This is what I get. You can't say words like retarded. That was just a normal word. They weaponized that. You can't say moron. You can't say gay. What language are we supposed to speak at this point?
Kill.
Yeah.
Murder.
You're not allowed to say any of these words. You get thrown off platforms for it. This is what George Orwell warned us about in the 1940s. Right here, absolutely. They have literally taken over language, and the left absolutely loves to take over language. And I'm not just saying the left. Look at the Republicans are the exact same way. There's no difference between Republicans and Democrats. There's conservative thought, and there's liberal thought. And then there's no thought, and then there's a lot of thought, and there's intelligent thought, and there's moronic thought. Okay, so we have that. But don't think for a second that just because somebody puts an R or a D by their name, that they follow anything that the people want. What they follow is, how do they drain tax dollars out of your and my pockets. And then how did they shut us down? How did they imprison us? And now they're telling us they're going to do it with 15-minute cities, just like we talked about. Baby, remember last night? Then we talked about 15-minute cities. We've talked about them before. All they are digital prisons. They're going to lock you in 15 minutes, and then you get a passcode. And if you're a good citizen, if you don't smoke your cigar, then maybe on the weekends you can go over to the 15-minute city next door and see your children, or your ex-wife, or your uncle, or your best friend that may have, been moved out because they were a little too free-thinking and had to go to a re-education camp, and now they have lobotomized them and put them in a place. And you have to go over and take care of them every weekend, but you can't because you smoked your cigar. You enjoyed a cigar in that 15-minute city, and that is against the rules. And trust me, you will be watched 24/7. There is absolutely, I don't care if you're in your house, under your covers, if you're taking a dump, or if you're cooking breakfast, you will be watched. You'll be watched by all of the smart stuff.
It's called our phone.
Yeah. Well, and they say that Wi-Fi.
It takes a picture every 15 seconds.
Well, you've seen where Wi-Fi, can you pull that up where Wi-Fi gives the government the ability to see through walls and everything? They actually see into your house. And that is why in our new constitutional republic, I am saying, let's go ahead and let's build our city without Wi-Fi. We'll use Elon Musk's Starlink, but everything will be hardwired. Bang. And then we either paint or coat our houses in metal to stop, because there's actually metal paint that is designed to stop frequencies. And that will stop Wi-Fi from going in and out of the house. So, and if you want Wi-Fi in your house, all right, but it's cooking you from the inside out. So, but it's free society. Do what you want. I'm just saying, if 100 of us can agree on enough, I think that we can have an incredible life, a life for my daughter and my grandson, for you, for your mom, your dad, for your children. I mean, it can be amazing.
Worries me says no lead paint. Kids were eating it. Yeah, right.
Right? Isn't that the most ridiculous thing? It's absolutely. This is how they lie. They lie and they say it enough. So here we go. Scientists can now use Wi-Fi to see through people's walls. Now, this came out January 19th of 2023. Remember this. If they are telling us about it, they've had it for at least a decade or so. Yeah. So there's, researchers at Carnegie Mellon University can map human bodies through walls using Wi-Fi signals. The technology tracks key points in the body for detection, extending previous research into using Wi-Fi signals to locate humans. The study's authors positioned the breakthrough as helpful to privacy. Oh, isn't it's nice that they did that. We can see you whenever we want, whatever you're doing, but it's helpful for your privacy, even if it opens up the possibility for much easier, cheaper human trafficking. Yes. Now all you have to do is have a good government contract.
Look if we think there's stolen children in the house.
That's it. You're right, baby. You're exactly right. And we all need to get those trackers that they're talking about implanted in our skin so they can just keep a good eye, because human beings haven't been around but a year or two.
I bet it'll just become law, like when a baby's born and a tracker's automatically put in.
Well, I think it's going to be a biotracker. I think that one of the shots, and I mean, honest to goodness, yes, I understand having a smallpox vaccine. I understand having, vaccines for the worst of the worst. Here's what I don't understand. I don't understand why they need something like 72 vaccines in the first 3 months of the baby's life. I mean, enough mercury to kill an elephant. And you're putting that in a baby, and you wonder why autism rates have skyrocketed. It's absolutely insane. Anyways, when you militarize a city, that's statistically getting safer. You're not fighting crime. You are feeding a political machine that profits from keeping the public scared and the contracts flowing. What? I thought you were going to say, you keep looking at me with that look tonight. I'm like, all right, is she, huh? I just don't know.
I could say something if you want me to.
Yeah, no, go right ahead. Pull that mic a little closer so everybody
Irish
can hear you.
Temper said, no Starlink. I have it. We're being heavily surveilled.
Yeah, all right. So, what do we do? What do we do? For internet, because internet is going to be vitally important for a community living on the outskirts of a city or a town or out in the middle of nowhere, right? You got to have at least some capabilities. They're going to surveil you anyway, so we'll limit that. Actually, quite frankly, it's free. So if you want, go get whatever internet you can. If the only thing, and I'll tell you, don't use I forget what it was called. There was a satellite company that I had when I lived deep in Camino Island, and it was horrible. It was down all the time, cost me almost $400 a month. I have never, ever had such bad internet in my entire life. It literally worked a third of the time. Finally, Verizon got hooked up out there. Thank God. So where was I, babe?
I have no idea. You're just rambling.
Oh, okay. Well, segment 3 is we're going to talk about the Soros-backed DAs and crime cities. Follow the money. For decades, Soros-funded DAs have been gatekeepers for chaos, letting violent criminals walk while turning Americans into political targets. This is not incompetence. This is the same formula that we've talked about the homeless in D.C., about the drug issues. They create visible crisis, harvest endless taxpayer money, keep the gravy train running.
The rogue prosecutor movement stems from the basic idea that the entire criminal justice system is racist, and as pro-criminal anti-victim zealots bought and paid for by George Soros and tech billionaires, they adopt pro-criminal policies. They choose large categories of crimes not to prosecute. In Fairfax County, which is near Washington, D.C., Steve Descano is the rogue prosecutor elected in large part because of George Soros' money. George Soros contributed 75%, more or less, of the total amount of money Steve Descano got to his campaign. Without Soros' money, Steve Descano and these other rogue prosecutors simply would not have been elected.
So that is the truth right there. Pardon me. The fact is that when you buy a DA, the DA does what you want. And when you have people that have no business being in politics and no ability to do that, and then you bankroll them, they do your bidding. And Soros-linked PACs, PACs, right, bankrolled prosecutors who downgrade charges, remove bail, and release repeat offenders so they can go out and do more crime. Crime spikes in major cities aren't accidental. They justify more federal grants, more anti-crime programs, and more NGO contracts. Visible chaos works like the homeless encampments. It's the sales pitch for more money. Look here. Look what we have. Oh, we've got more crime? I wonder how that happened. Well, when you buy your way in and you literally put a revolving door in 1 minute, out the next. We saw an article. I should have thought about that today. A guy that did like 12 different crimes within 3 days, arrested 12 times, in and out, bang, right back to doing burglarizing his community. And the same politicians then funnel cash into community programs run by allies and donors. The crime industrial complex. That's how it's built. Citizens pay for both sides, the chaos and the so-called solutions. So the fix to this is to replace prosecutors who absolutely refuse to enforce the law. Tie all justice funding into independent performance audits. Ban contracts to nonprofits tied to elected officials or their families. From Los Angeles to Chicago, from St. Louis to Philly, they have turned our cities into crime theme parks. And the only ticket that you buy is the price of your tax bill. There we go. This is the same playbook every time. Create a crisis, advertise the crisis, profit from the crisis, and as long as the voters buy the show, the politicians keep cashing the checks. What have we paid for that has gotten better? Whenever the government takes something over, all they want to do is widen that vein and bleed more money out of the taxpayer's pocket. So what are they saying over there in the chat? I know that we're like 7 minutes behind on over here.
Yeah, because Jen said dial up.
Yeah, there we go. Dial up. Beep, beep, beep. I understand that that dial up in the next couple of years is going to be a thing of the past.
Yeah, there won't be any dial up.
If you even have it in your city right now, I mean, there's very few places that actually still support dial up.
And then Jen also said back to the lead paint thing, kids never ate it. It kept the radiation and the EMFs out. So that's what we use.
HughesNet, yes. Irish temper. That's what I had with HughesNet. Oh, horrible. Literally 1940s technology. It had to be one of the first satellites. I don't know what it was. It was the most unworkable piece of garbage. And it reminded me of the first time I logged on back in 93. It took forever to download a web page. Just I'm like, come on! You're sitting there half the day just waiting. Actually, I wasn't, but it did take that long. So practically. Now, baby, what else? What else do we?
DPSF 98 says, but innocent people get framed and go to prison for years.
Oh, that is exactly right. I think
J6ers.
January 6th. Yep.
J6ers.
That's right. And the woman who prayed outside an abortion clinic, right? And abortion, that's eugenics. That's all that is. Get rid of the people you don't want. Get rid of the people who can't afford kids. But then bring in the Muslims and let them have 10, 11, 12 kids. I don't hate Muslims. What I hate is the agenda to replace a population. What was that, babe?
Well, you're on Rumble, so you can see the Irish Temper put a link up for you. Click on it.
Okay, hold on. Let me take a look at that.
And Was Me said, we used to have it. I think they're talking about that net.
There we go.
They were the only ones that would come out here.
Stories where there's a guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, you sure you can control the demon? Didn't work out.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is building Skynet. Oh, he admits it in his own words.
Except to say that by the time these lawsuits are decided, we'll have digital God. So ask digital God at that point. These lawsuits won't be decided before on a time frame that is relevant.
A digital God. I'm certain that he's talking about AI. I mean, really, that's where we're going. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think that he means AI is going to be the digital God? Because that is exactly what I think he's referring to.
But look what he was wearing. It was scary.
Yeah.
Was it a costume party? But still.
We do, we simply don't know. And quite frankly,
weird. I'm sorry.
I worked in the bar business, and every Halloween, every special occasion, people dress up in stuff that they're embarrassed about the very next day once they sober up. So, listen, I would love to judge everybody, but I can't because I don't know enough. I'd like to take a closer look at Elon Musk, but I don't like what Elon Musk is doing. He's literally turned X into the Gestapo. How many do we have? We've got
only 127.
127. I mean, it took me over a month to get 40 followers, and I'd go up 20 and down 20, up 20 and down 20, up 25, down 22, up 27, down 30.
Every week it's getting less and less. Like they keep telling you your reach is less, and it's true. I mean, tonight I'm shocked. I'm looking at 127. We're usually at least
400 still.
Well, yeah, but before the first, that's what it went down to. We were 600-700.
Yeah, 1,500 at times, 1,100. Yes,
did a few thousand shows. So I'm looking at this tonight, going, wow. Even though 14 of you left X to go over to Rumble,
Yeah.
And thank you.
Follow me on Rumble. Follow me on Substack, because I am absolutely being crushed on X. There's no other way to put it.
Beckham says that is what he's saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Victim. I think we are right about that.
It is finished, says the Antichrist.
Completely. So that's one of the problems right there, is that we've allowed the very wealthy, the very powerful to take over. There have been times throughout history when humankind in general was strong enough, powerful enough to overthrow governments. Do you think that we are moving into a new human epoch that government and big business, AI, will take over the world?
Yeah.
So
Skynet.
Yeah. Spend your time wisely, because feeding into this, all it's going to do is make you more of a prisoner. So we'll have to watch and see what they're doing. But we've got transhumanism going on, and I need to get a guest on about transhumanism. Somebody that really
Jen.
knows
Go find
what's
somebody.
going on. Yeah, Jen, if you know of anybody, and Dr. Group talks about this, and I've reached out to him, and I'd love to have him or Serge on the Serge. There we go, on the program to talk about transhumanism, because here's what happens. We're being fed very highly toxic nanoparticles that have the ability to then replicate themselves out of your blood, all of the metals in your blood, turn themselves into robots, and then be controlled by, more than likely, AI, but be controlled by frequency.
I think.
And if they want to have you hear voices in your head, can they? Well, probably they can, because we've heard about that ever since the days of Ted Kaczynski and the MK Ultra program. And you'll remember Ted Kaczynski is the Unabomber, and the CIA is the one that built him and then set him free to do his damage. That's what we're talking about. Ted Kaczynski, he didn't do that by himself. He got built by the CIA using the MK Ultra program to be a terrorist. And what does our government need in our society? They need terror. That's right. I just saw a thing, I wonder if I sent that to myself, where Osama bin Laden isn't really dead. And let me look. I'm just looking through my notes here. I send a lot of stuff to myself so I can pull it up. But
Texas Americana says the throttling continues.
Oh my God, horrifically. So I'm going to ask you guys right now, can each and every one of you help me build my Rumble channel? We were taking off. And if you like the show, please comment. I need people to comment, to follow me there, to build that channel, because I like to think that I'm your voice, that I say the things that we are all thinking. And if not us, then who will do our bidding? Who will speak? And we're getting to the point that we have a big voice, not on X anymore. X is killing us. So move to my Rumble, move to my Substack, and let's build something amazing there, because that is how we beat the odds. And we'll just see. We will absolutely see how this goes. But Rumble has been fun for the last 2 days. I guess we've been on it. No,
we're getting more action in 2 days than we have in weeks.
It is really eye-opening. And I used to wake up to hundreds of notifications. I will wake up in the morning on X, check my notifications, 2, maybe, sometimes 9, sometimes none. I'll go all day long. There won't be a single post, nothing. There were no likes, Nothing. I literally will watch. I will put posts up, and within seconds they will disappear.
Maybe they just don't like you anymore, baby.
I think that's what it is.
No, they don't like the show.
No,
You suck.
X does not like the show. Well, that's too bad. I guess maybe if I didn't demonize them so much, maybe not call them out. Maybe not. Yeah. So what do? We need to find alternatives and an alternative lifestyle. Not like, hey, put me up in that dog outfit and walk me around the city. No, not that alternative. I'm talking alternative, like build a better life. You want to go fish by the stream's right there, the river. You want to create your own power, do that. You want to have a machine shop, bang. We have a city machine shop that anybody and everybody can use. But we put somebody in charge. We're not morons, right? We put somebody in charge or find somebody to be part of the city that knows what it is to run a machine shop. Bingo. Put somebody in the restaurant that understands great food, how to run a restaurant. Bingo. That's how you run effective societies. You pick not the people that are your friends or that get you moved up in a way or that you can control. No, you pick the right people for the job. What a concept. What an incredible concept. Good God. Well, it looks like 8:30 has snuck up and completely surprised me. So with all of that, I am Sergey Brown.
And I'm Dawn.
And we will see you next time. Join my Rumble.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Like, share, and comment, and we'll see you tomorrow.